Going on YouTube? Got a knife review slash impressions for you guys. This is a knife that my friend gave to me to sharpen. He knew that I had the wicked edge and it was having a problem sharpening this knife on his, I believe, either Lansky or Sharpmaker. If it's a Sharpmaker, I don't know why he had too much problem, even with a Lansky. But anyway, I told him that I would be able to sharpen it for him. And so I didn't actually know what knife he was going to give to me. I thought it was going to be like a Sage or like one of those K-bar doziers, and thought I was just going to be able to whip through it really quick on the wicked edge. And then he gave me this one. I was like, oh, okay, Kershaw, shouldn't be too much of a problem. And then I opened it up and it was this. This is the Kershaw 1595 G10 Speedbump. So this one's got G10 handles versus the standard, kind of like, I guess, kind of like a FRN type handle on the normal speed bump. And this one's got the 14 C28N Sandvik steel. Obviously, the main feature of the speed bump is this absolutely huge recurve on this blade. And I have to say that this knife was a total pain in the butt to sharpen. You know, I don't have the curved stones on for my wicked edge. All I've got are the straight stones from 100 grit all the way to 1600 ceramics, and so this was actually quite a feat. I had to kind of measure things out, and I kept marking out the blade to see where I was touching on the blade, and definitely, you know, from here all the way through the tip of the blade, I was able to get really sharp. And then from the heel of the blade to, you know, this large recurve part, I really had to dig in and kind of cut away quite a bit of steel in order to engage at the same angle. So right now this is at about 34 degrees inclusive. So yeah, this is the speed bump for you. So I actually have never seen this knife, didn't know what to anticipate, and when I flicked this blade out, I was I was kind of bewildered, not in a good way, by how steep the recurve was on this blade. You know, I'm not a huge fan of recurve blades. I've got two of my own here. The other two, my CQC 15 and the Mini 15, as much as I love those knives, again, because I'm not a huge fan of recurve, I didn't keep those knives. Really quick compared to these other knives. So again, this is my Grayman Sawtooth with a slight recurve. You know, just from the heel, it kind of just comes down a little bit, you know, and then curves up. You know, and then my ZT-0350, this also has a slight recurve on this blade. Measurement wise, it's pretty similar to the Sebenza here at a 3.625 inch blade. This blade is 3 5/8, so exactly 3.625 inches. So relatively medium to large size blade. And then the RJ Martin, not RJ Martin, the RJ1 collaboration with Kershaw. This is a China made knife with China steel, 8CR13 MOV. You know, cheap $30 knife. This knife runs, I saw on eBay, anywhere between $50 to $75. There's another version that has the S30V with a textured G10, kind of a 3D CNC version, G10 version, and that one on eBay ran at $250, which I thought was ridiculous. Definitely, I would never spend that kind of money on a knife like this. I think more because of preference, but you know, also because of the recurve, and you know, there's a number of features on this knife that make this knife special, but not necessarily, again, in a good way. So really quick, one of the other features about this knife is that it features Kershaw's patented stud lock. You know, basically it's a spring that's embedded within the steel of this blade, or at the heel, and as you can see that little spring right there, and it just compresses as you push this. So as the blade engages, it runs over that little notch over there and then sits on there. So it kind of reminded me a little bit of my my CRK tie lock, the Grant and Gavin Hawk design tie lock. But obviously that one's different as it has the bronze barrel that would sit in a notch on top of the handles of the blade, and that was held together by a titanium torsion bar that was affixed to the blade. So the idea of the stud sitting on top, you know, that's pretty much where the similarities end. And this being a spring lock, or actual coil spring lock, you know, it just sits on top and then engages on top of the steel liners here. It's actually a relatively secure lock. I was actually pretty surprised by that. There is pretty much no vertical, there's no vertical rock, but you could force some flexing in this knife vertically. So I think that's just the nature of the spring being right there. And then horizontally, there's no blade play. I tighten, well, right now there is. I could tighten up a little bit on the pivot, and then you wouldn't be able to get any blade play on there. The other thing, you know, jimping wise, it's got some jimping here on this little finger choil and up here. Both are completely ineffective. They don't dig into your finger at all. I'm just rubbing my thumb up here so easily. Compared to the ZT, my thumb just locks in. You know, it doesn't go anywhere. It's just rocking on the jimping. So this jimping is completely ineffective. It serves no purpose whatsoever other than maybe aesthetics. It's got this huge, you know, in my opinion, just gaudy pocket clip, and it's tip down only. So that's the first feature that I dislike about it. You know, that's tip down, and then the fact that the clip is just monstrous. I think they could easily put, you know, a clip like this on here, and it would look a lot better. It wouldn't be as gaudy. It wouldn't stick out. It wouldn't scream, you know, out of your pocket like knife, knife, knife. You know, so the one good thing, a redeeming factor about the pocket clip is it's very low profile. Compared to my 0560 ZT, you know, you can see how the clip just rides so high, and it's a deep carry clip, which I hate. Then the fact that it rides so low, it actually slides in and out of the pocket relatively easily, and the retention is pretty good as well. So, you know, in hand, you know, when I talk about ergonomics, it's actually a very comfortable knife. The pocket clip doesn't interfere or get in the way of your palm. There's no hot spots. There's really no hot spots in this knife whatsoever. It's a very comfortable knife for sure. The fact that you do have this kind of finger guard and choil, slight little thumb ramp up here, it makes, again, for a very comfortable knife. Reverse grip, also very comfortable. Pinky kind of just sits in there. Pocket clip is unobtrusive in your fingers, kind of just lays on the pocket clip and just feels like it's part of the handle. And given the fact that the heel of this handle, or the tail of this handle is so thin, your fingers kind of just wrap around it, and it's actually, it is a very comfortable knife. So in whatever grips, whether forward grip or reverse grip, it is very comfortable. So I do have to give that, give credit to this knife for that. Outside of that, you know, there's a couple of design features or flaws. I don't know if it's because this knife has been beaten to death or what. This may be G10 or plastic handle. You can see, you know, it's not fit and finish wise, it's not really good, and it kind of dips into the liners over here, and then up here kind of dips into the liners as well. So this is a speed safe design. Flipper, so I keep trying to go for a liner lock here because that's what I feel like it is, but yeah, I just got these. I'm not a huge fan of the stud lock. It works fine, but I would just much prefer a liner lock on a design like this. But you know, they're just experimenting and all that kind of stuff with new designs. This is a Ken Onion design, hence all the curves and ergonomic feel and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of what Ken Onion is known for, whether it be his CRKT Ripple or even like ZTs. You know, the 350 and the 300 series are all Ken Onion designs. I'm not sure if the 200 is Ken Onion as well, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was. So anyway, yeah, this is kind of how the knife measures up. In my opinion, you know, I would much rather, if I were to go for a recurve blade, I don't want a recurve that's so steep, for sure. So something with this kind of profile with the Sawtooth or for the 350 For the extra $25 to maybe $30 that you could spend to get a ZT-0350, in terms of fit and finish, in terms of great ergonomics as well, functional jimping, more premium steel at S30V, a slightly thicker blade stock and all that kind of stuff, locking with these blade stops, thumb studs. I think this knife is a far superior knife. Flipping is so comfortable, and remember that I took out the torsion bar in this SpeedSafe system, so this is riding completely manual and is so effortless. It's such a smooth blade. D10 is perfect on this blade for a manual flipper. So I would much prefer even the G10. Again, I don't know if it's because this one is old or what. I feel like the texture on this G10 is perfect. So kind of reminiscent of some of the older Emerson's G10. Not quite as hard cut and all that kind of stuff. So I would say that this knife, the Speedbump, compares closest to the 350, and I would take the 350 hands down any day. I think in general, any of one of us could spare an extra $20 to $25 for a knife. If you're not a huge knife collector and you just want to get that one knife, the ZT-350 would be a much better choice than the Speedbump. Again, purely for the recurve and the premium steel and just better fit and finish, and the 350 than the Speedbump. Overall, it's a nice knife and everything, but there's little bits and pieces of the knife that I just really don't like. It is very comfortable, but yeah, I would just go with this one any day. Alright guys, so that's my quick little review and impressions of the Speedbump. I'm going to return this knife to my friend, and yeah, I'm not going to say anything about it. This is his knife and whatever. So anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoy the video, and let me know what your comments are down below, and I'll see you guys on the next vid. Take care. Bye.